G'day, I'm Joel Rasmussen from Fight News Australia with new welterweight demolition champion, Diellon Lihari. First off, congratulations.
Thank you, Joel. Appreciate it.
If I'm not mistaken, please correct me if I'm wrong, but you stepped in on somewhat late notice to this fight. There was a few dropouts, if I'm not mistaken, or?
I think there was. I fought 4 weeks ago, and I got offered this fight by my coach like the day after, so I'm assuming that week it would have been offered to him. I think, he was scheduled to fight one of the Andrews brothers, and I think there was a pull-out, so about 4 weeks.
What goes through your head when you come backstage after you've won a fight and then they go, hey man, you want to fight in 4 weeks for an amateur title?
Actually, I lost that fight in a bit of an opposite display to tonight, where I rate my jiu-jitsu. I got a bit too comfortable playing jiu-jitsu. And in my head I was like, fuck, maybe go away, work on some things. But I knew the change was more of it wasn't a technical thing, it was a technique and skill is there. It was more of that mental switch of, okay, I can't do this. So I had a chat with the coaches, a few of my main training partners, and we're like, fuck it. We know what we need to change. It's nothing that's going to take time. Let's just give it a crack, see how we go. And that went pretty well tonight, I feel. The game plan was implemented well.
When you're coming off a loss, but you're coming off just a fight in general, what is camp like? You're going back in for 4 weeks. Does it keep that intensity? Do you have to skyrocket and ramp up in intensity?
Yeah, so I didn't take any damage. I got wrestle fucked, for lack of a better term, what I tried to do tonight. So there was no damage. Obviously, the body started feeling it a bit more towards the end of the camp. I think because in all it would have been about 10, 12 weeks then. You start getting that mental fatigue, your nervous system starts playing up. And then coming off the loss, obviously, before the fight, coming off a loss, you have those little things telling you shit in your head. You start doubting yourself, but it's all it's good to do that in the amateurs, I think, because that's where you're going to learn. And I'd rather face that adversity now than face it for the first time in the pros and be like, fuck, what's happening here? So knowing I can push through it means when it comes up at a later time, I'll be able to persevere through again.
Talking about the game plan, you said, the plan was to wrestle fuck. Jacob Lepage, he's, no stranger to wrestling either, but we know how good the grappling camp at Absolute MMA is. When you're going up against someone who is, a good grappler, how does that affect that goal to, use your grappling so well?
I know where I stand with my grappling. I never doubted my grappling in this fight. Even my hands, I think I cracked him a few times on the feet. I was very confident everywhere. But what I think I learned most from the last fight is and with the amateurs, sorry, I'm cutting in and out here, but with the amateurs, people progress at such a fast rate. You can't really watch someone's fight from 8 months ago and be like, okay, these are the mistakes he does, this is where we're going to capitalize, because you're learning and you're progressing at a rapid rate that you could look at one thing and that's completely different the next fight. So I think the biggest thing with this fight was don't worry about what he's going to do. Implement your game plan. You know how strong your game plan is and take it from there. And that's what, from the first bell to the last, that's what we did.
You're grappling, as you said, you're very confident in it. The whole Absolute camp, both in the amateurs and in the pros, got that crazy grappling. What's going on over there at Absolute MMA? What's going on in the water?
Simon Carson's going on in the water. The Vanilla Gorilla. I'm sure you've heard the boys drop his name a few times. He's phenomenal, man. I reckon this isn't wrong. If you go into his computer drive, the next 4 years is planned out of what we're doing on a monthly basis. He's systemized. You can't be in that system and not do well. And I think that speaks to everyone who is doing well in the system, as well as people who come into the system, and then you see the results in their fights after they've come into the system. So all that is thanks to him.
Now, I know, obviously, you've just captured the title. You maybe not be thinking about what's next. You may be wanting to go, maybe I'll enjoy the victory a little bit, but I'm going to ask that classic interview question. What's next? If you had, what do you think is next for you?
So I started this year in terms of competition really strong. I've had 3 MMA fights. I had 1 jiu-jitsu match on Fusion, it's a jiu-jitsu match, but it's done in a bit of a bigger atmosphere, so there's a bit more of that fight feel. So that's 4 big tournaments, or 4 big competitions in the first 6 months of the year. I'll probably just train sort of off camp for the next 2-3 weeks. So just one a day, 1 skill session a day, 1 strength and conditioning a day, let the body relax a little bit. And then from there, I'll see what happens next. But look to pick up some fights. Yeah, definitely finish the year strong with some fights. That's for sure. Not slowing down.
Excellent. Diellon, first, congratulations. And thank you so much for your time.